Sitecore is a digital experience platform that allows you to create and deliver relevant, targeted content to your website visitors. And getting that content to your visitors as quickly and efficiently as possible is a critical part of delivering digital experiences your visitors will engage with. Traditionally, you ensure fast website performance by making sure you have enough Sitecore instances to handle the number of visitors you have, and that those instances are located as geographically close to your visitors as possible. As the number of visitors increases in specific regions, you add more instances to those regions in order to maintain performance. Each time a visitor requests a page, a Sitecore instance needs to build that page by finding the information that's displayed on the page, called the content, and the instructions for how the content should be positioned and formatted. This is called the presentation logic. The Sitecore instance builds the page by combining the content and the presentation logic into HTML that the Sitecore instance returns to the visitor. In an application, a process that takes up time and computing power is called an expensive process. On a Sitecore instance, the page building process is one of the most expensive processes there is. So the more visitors you have, the more page building your Sitecore instance needs to do, the slower your Sitecore instance gets, until eventually you need to add more Sitecore instances to handle the load. But modern web browsers can handle a lot of the page building process themselves. By letting web browsers do what they're good at, you can reduce the amount of work your Sitecore instance needs to do. When your Sitecore instance doesn't have as much processing for each visitor, the response time for each visitor decreases, and the number of visitors that a single Sitecore instance can handle increases. This lets you make more efficient use of your existing Sitecore investment. And the easiest way to do this is using Sitelify from Altola. Without Sitelify, each time a visitor wants to view a page, a Sitecore content delivery instance needs to go through the page building process. The page building process runs for every page, and it runs for every user. The Sitecore instance is doing a lot of work, and it's doing it constantly, and this limits the number of visitors that the instance can handle, and it increases the time it takes for each page to load. When you use Sitelify, the page building process happens before the visitor goes to view the page. The result of the page building process is a set of files that represent your website. Sitelify deploys those files to a global CDN or content delivery network. When a visitor views a page, the page is already built and available from the CDN. No page rendering means pages can be served really quickly and to a lot of visitors. Not only are your visitors accessing your website in the cloud, but your site is automatically deployed to data centers around the world and on multiple public clouds. This worldwide application delivery network is provided by our partners at Netlify. When you use Sitelify to deploy your Sitecore website, your website is deployed to Netlify. Netlify offers fast performance, high availability, instant worldwide scalability and security, with virtually no configuration or maintenance, and it's a solution that's much more cost-effective than hosting Sitecore on Azure. But what if you're using Sitecore personalization or the Sitecore Experience Database? Sitecore still builds the pages. Normally, when you have personalization on the page, Sitecore uses what it knows about the visitor to determine how to build the page. Since the page building process is running before the visitor views the page, Sitecore doesn't know anything about the visitor, so Sitecore builds the page as if the visitor is completely unknown. What Sitelify does is finds any places where personalized content should go and adds a small bit of information that identifies these personalization spots. Those files get deployed to Netlify. When a visitor views a page with personalization, the page is delivered by Netlify just like before. The browser sees that there are personalization spots that need to be populated. So the browser makes a very targeted request to Sitecore. All the browser asks for is the block of personalized content. Sitecore generates that specific bit of content and returns it to the browser. Then the browser adds the personalized content to the page that's displayed to the visitor. So in this case, you don't completely eliminate the need for a Sitecore delivery server, but you significantly reduce the amount of work it needs to do, which means a Sitecore instance can handle more visitors faster. Sitelify makes your Sitecore implementation faster, instantly scalable, more efficient, and less susceptible to downtime or attacks by combining the best features of Sitecore and Netlify. Continue to use Sitecore as your web content management system, and continue to use Sitecore tools like Experience Editor to build the kinds of engaging digital experiences your customers demand. Focus on creating content and connecting that content with visitors. Let Netlify handle the technical parts involved in making that happen. Netlify is a worldwide application delivery network which ensures your website is as close to your visitors as possible, and this minimizes page load time. You don't need to worry about configuring and managing scaling. Netlify does that for you automatically. When you deploy a Sitecore site to Netlify, there is no database or application server to hack or attack. You're deploying files to a CDN. Netlify uses data centers around the world and on multiple public clouds, so there is no single point of failure. Your site's going to stay up even if one cloud provider suffers a major outage. Netlify handles all of the website administration for you, letting you focus on making your content available to your visitors. If you're using Sitecore personalization, Netlify reduces the load on your Sitecore instances by handling all of your website content delivery. And if you are using Sitecore personalization, Netlify handles most of your website content delivery, leaving your Sitecore delivery servers to handle more visitors faster. Sitelify from Altola, bringing Sitecore and Netlify together for the fastest Sitecore experience possible.